This is a conversation we had a lot at work too.
Yeah, for sure. We had a lot of these.
We had a lot of and I'm bringing back all these old conversations for y'all.
But we did work, people. We weren't
just,
no, we were sitting in the
worked.
back sipping dews. You were sipping dew. I was probably drinking water.
Yeah, you were drinking all.
Making
You
fun of
always
everyone else
drink
for
water,
drinking
bro.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, God.
Yeah,
but marijuana, bro.
Oh yeah.
Mary Jane
Woo,
Juana's
the devil's lettuce.
the devil's lettuce.
The good shit.
So we talked about this a lot because we are now getting to a spot where it is fucking almost legal. I mean, it's getting
pretty much, yeah. All the bordering states, everywhere except Idaho, right?
Yeah, literally.
All of our neighbors.
It's getting legal. The states, like, what are your opinions on all that?
I mean, I think the debate's kind of over. Because I think that just society, even like the baby boomers. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird because I grew up with like this stigma on marijuana that it was like a gateway drug, that it's this terrible drug that's going to rot your brain and all this stuff. Now, what I will say about it is it's just like anything. It's like McDonald's. Too much of anything is a bad thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like marijuana, I think it helps people. I think that it can also do bad things for people. It just depends on how you use it. Now, I think that I think the war on drugs, and we won't go too deep into this, but the war on drugs was just a big nonsensical thing, in my opinion. I think that, especially with marijuana, I wouldn't even classify it as a drug. I mean, there are drugs out there that are dangerous, that we should keep off the streets at all means possible, especially like away from children. I mean, like, drugs that are literally killing thousands of people a day. It's very, very tragic. We should be spending more time and resources combating addiction and things like that than we should be worried about marijuana anymore. I think the debate's kind of over. Most states have legalized. If you want to do it, then do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I mean, I think it can help people in a lot of ways. It can also, like I said, I don't think you have to have marijuana to achieve anything. I think that you can do it on your own. I don't condone the use of it for anyone. But yeah, I think that it should be legal. It's just a plant that grows.
Yeah, it's super simple. Yeah, the reason I asked is because we talked, and at the time, I smoked weed like 3 or 4 times in high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so
maybe like 300, 400 for me in high school. In high school.
Yeah. No, I did it just literally a couple of times, and my last time, I ended up getting caught. In trouble. And
so it put a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, so literally I remember, because we talked about it, is I was like, because like literally I was senior in high school before I even touched. I still, drinking whatever, but smoking, like I just always avoided it for some reason. But finally, like for the very first time I bought weed, like, because every other time I was like, dude, here you go, like, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to buy it for the first time, buy it, whatever. And went to a very terrible spot to smoke it, and the cop pulls up and writes me up or whatever. Yeah. But I had to do 6 months of probation where you had to call every fucking morning, weekends and holidays, and do your drug color. And if like mine was green, so you have to call every morning right at 6 a.m. sharp and be like, the color today is red and blue. And I'm like, oh, good, I don't have to go in. Oh, the color today is green. And you're like, fuck. So you have to roll in there and be there by 7 to piss test, which costs $10 a piece.
Which is a ridiculous system.
Yeah,
that system should be done away
that whole
with.
Thing. So yes,
especially for low-time pot smokers.
Yes, and I was high school, so that like put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was the same way. Like I just always avoided it, never really stepped into it for XYZ reason. But then I did it, and then I got in trouble. I was like, fuck this is stupid. Like and it wasn't even that I really neglected weed. It was like it was illegal. I just can't touch it.
Right.
Like I'm not going to be a part of it, whatever. And then that did that forever. And then me and you were having these conversations. And then you kind of, like was like, dude, like it's like, yeah, that's like the system is kind of fucked rather than, weed itself.
Yeah, it's the system that's fucked for sure.
Yeah, literally fuck the system.
Yeah.
But like all that happened, I'm like, you know what, you're right. And then of course around those times, weed was getting legalized and it was becoming more and more common. And you read more and more online. And then you go to a state, like the very first time was like going to Las Vegas and you're walking down and like you see people smoking weed and you're like,
yeah, Seattle. It smells like fish and weed everywhere.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. It's like here, because like it's fucking, you'll get taken down quick. Like I said, like it was hella quick. Like it was just like, I just remember like, oh my God, I got caught. And then the next day I woke up to papers and then I go to court and then I was already in probation for 6 months. That fucking cost X amount of money. Right. It's a terrible experience.
Yeah.
But that's why I bring it up now, because it's like, don't you think that it should just be fucking legal?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it should have been legal. It should have been illegal a long time ago. In fact, I think there's a few factors into why it was illegal in the first place. And one of the main factors was because the paper industry was like lobbied to make it illegal because of the hemp industry. Because hemp,
Right.
like, I mean, put pot aside, hemp is a very versatile resource. It
Yeah.
can be used for a lot of
Very.
things.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate that we're cutting down trees when we could be growing mass amounts of hemp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, and that would save us a lot. I mean, that would help out our planet environmentally so much better. You
Yeah,
know,
because there's
so
like hemp
it's
oils
just
and all
like,
those things that are like,
it's like all this
yeah.
was just somebody's decision, probably out of greed or power or whatever, to make these things illegal or whatever. And ultimately, I think that it was really bad for society to do that.
Yeah.
And then just to touch on criminal justice, you know, the criminal justice system. I mean, people like, I mean, you got in trouble for weed. You were in high school, and I feel like they kind of go hard on high school kids when they catch them with drugs, in any way, shape, or form, which is kind of fair,
Yeah.
I guess. Like even if it were legal, you still would have been in trouble because you were underage at the
Yep,
time. You know, you
exactly.
probably shouldn't have been smoking
Yep.
weed at that age.
Yep.
I don't think that you should smoke weed when you're a teenager.
Really?
You know, I think
That's a
I
good
think
thought.
that there's a reason why there's an age limit on these things, because when you
Right.
get older, you gain a better understanding of who you are.
Yeah.
I think drugs can kind of convolute that. Drugs aren't the only thing. I mean, there's a lot of exterior
Things that can convolute you.
yeah, totally. That can fuck your psychology up, you
Yeah.
know. And I think marijuana is probably really low on the list of things
Yeah.
that could actually do damage to your life, you know. But at the same time, I think that if you're young, you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, understand yourself better, understand it better, and then decide when you're an adult. Same with drinking. Drinking is actually really terrible for you.
Yeah.
Before you reach a certain, I mean, it's terrible for your body anyway. But
Yeah.
before you reach a certain age, it can really have damaging effects on your brain.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know the science behind. I'm sure it probably has a lot to do with how much you use or how much you
Yeah.
drink. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
I just
And-
think that I think that the age limit is a good thing. Now, granted, kids are going to get a hold of it anyway.
Yeah, facts.
It's actually easier for kids to get pot in states where it's illegal than it is where it's legal.
Really? Yeah, because everyone just goes to the store or the market
Right,
rather than
right.
here. It's like you don't need to get ID from the drug dealer down the street.
It's a lot easier to get weed for kids in Pocatello than it is for them to get alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because alcohol is a controlled substance. You have to be 21 to buy it. I think most adults, other than maybe like people in their early 20s, I wouldn't buy kids alcohol. I'd be like, hell
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to call your
Facts.
mom.
Facts. I'm gonna call
You
your
know
mom.
what I mean? So,
Yeah, no, big facts. And like to even pull back the story, it's like, so that was our conversation at the time, you know, like what are your thoughts on it? Should it be legal? And it, you know, it's
Yeah.
leading that way. And I'm happy how you say yes, it should, but we should, you know, have age limits, things like that.
yeah, I mean, it should be controlled. But then again, the only drawback of making it legal is then you're just putting all that tax into the government's hands.
Yeah,
and,
big
you know, so, and they're probably not doing very much
Yeah.
with that money.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want it to get taken over by some big, you know, tobacco industry or something that are
yeah,
going to
that's
put
where I'm gonna-
chemicals in it to make it
Yes.
addicting or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I want to get there, but the other thing I just want to go back real quick on this marijuana thing, and when we talked and discussed, you know, I did have that like thought, and then you were really the first one to kind of like, you know, whatever, and then like the more like it wasn't just you, but like around that time, like I started hearing friends more do it and family, and like yes, family really woke me up. Like it's weird when you get older and like the little small things start making sense. Like when your parents go out the door and they're like, hey, you can't come out here, son, and they lock, and you're like, oh, whatever. And you go play your video game. Then you get older and they shut the door like, Gage, come out here. And you're like, oh my God, y'all smoking? You're like,
Papa needs his puff.
It starts making sense and shit, but you're like, oh my God. But it's like, it kind of blew my mind how much family, holy fucking shit, is some of my family like smoke
Oh yeah, me
weed.
too. Yeah, totally.
You know, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, I never saw it, but like, I was like, I want to like, this is what I'm like, okay, I just want to like have a very, I was at this point where I'm like, I want to smoke weed just one more time, just to like see, like just to kind of cut out, like, because there's like a little bit of demons in your head, like it's still bad, it's still
Yeah.
illegal. And I was like, so me and my fiance were going to California,
Okay.
and you know, and I was like, okay, I want to make it like 100% legal because I have bad anxiety as it is, you know. As I
Right.
talked a couple episodes, I would just want to make it like fully like nice and calm as I can. So we went to California. And we got an Airbnb and talked with the hostess, like, is it cool if we do this? First guy said no. Second person we found, they're like, hell yeah, like, that's totally cool. Like, I
Yeah.
do it. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So, because you have to
Totally.
be inside or whatever.
Right.
And so we went down there, we smoked weed, and we literally just got a couple blunts and went home, or went to our Airbnb, smoked weed, had a great time. We were playing games on our phone, fucking around, saying, it's like, just like one of those, like, little classic. It was really, like,
Yeah.
fun moment because both of us, like, kind of experimented in high school, but then we got to this point where, like, let's just, like, try it as you know, adults, just for like that one memory where it's legal, fully 100%
Might as
legal.
well, yeah.
You know, and the only negative is like family, friends, and people that will give back, you know, cut back on you because like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, whatever. but we did it. Had a great fucking night. Haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
So
there you
like
go.
that calmed all my things in my head. Like, dude, I this was over a year ago. I haven't
Yeah.
fucking touched it. I don't feel like, oh my god, you know,
And,
like.
and I
it-
think, yeah, and that
it's-
goes back to a point of like you probably shouldn't do it when you were a kid. Because
Yeah,
I mean, say you never
exactly.
got in trouble and then you overindulged in it, and then you're doing it
Very
every day.
true.
And I'm sure it's an expensive habit for
Yeah.
people. You know,
very much.
Yeah, it's
And
an
so it was
expensive
just like
habit.
kind of like
I actually don't. I don't really do it. I mean, I'll do it at night sometimes to help me fall asleep. But I don't know. It actually can trigger my anxiety a little bit. And so,
you know, we have an equal friend that said the same thing. That's why he stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But it was just like kind of a wake up moment of it. It's not the devil, and that
I mean, it's the devil's lettuce.
it's the devil's lettuce. But at the same time, you're right with addiction. Like this is the thing. Honest, and people are gonna sound like out of your brain, but really, like the habits are very similar. Like if I take a person that drinking gives its own problems, but if someone's drinking every night compared to how like when I'm home and I have homework and I have bills and I have all these things and I'm playing video games daily, which I was like my first year of college, like I was just like literally paying $4,000 for a semester, then going home and just fucking wasting all my time on fucking video games.
Yeah,
Like,
easy to do.
It's very easy. It was an addiction. Like I fucking just love.
Yeah.
Until this day, I love video gaming. But at that time, it was very, very bad. I'd skip class. I would skip family events. I just fucking be like, oh, like it's all anxiety here. I can just fucking be me, you know, do my
Yeah,
thing, you know.
Totally.
And it's bad. And
Yeah.
so it's like that's like there's nothing worse because they both have side effects, and addiction hits anything.
Yeah.
Weed, video games, McDonald's, like you said, addiction is the bad part.
Right.
Too
Everything
much-
in moderation. Yeah,
Exactly.
everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation, because too much of it can affect you. So I just wanted to bring that up just to kind of tell you now live
Yeah.
on the podcast that I finally had that awakening a moment. I kind of wanted to circle
man.
it back to you where it was like
Yeah.
I would never had anything to do with it, kind of played with it, got in trouble with it, hated it, kind of like heard family and friends are all about it and being more open with me. I'm like, I'm going to fuck with it just once, went down there, had a great fucking night. Literally, it was
There
a
you go.
fun fucking night. And
Yeah.
my fiance was just like, I just felt like I kept sinking into the bed for like, you know, like we were talking. It's just like
Yeah.
so many fun memories and good times in that one night down in California. And then we moved on.
Honestly, there's potheads. I mean, I know everyone that I know smokes pot. I mean, who am I kidding? And they function in society just fine. I mean, they can smoke weed and do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like, it's definitely not the most mind-altering substance out there.
Yeah.
And and so there's, and this could be said. I mean, now the big thing is like psilocybin. You know, they've found a lot of positive psychological effects to psilocybin mushrooms, and so that's kind of like the next thing. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of people that are on the other side of the fence when it comes to the marijuana debate, they always fall back on the gateway thing.
Right.
And then their next step is like, well, if we legalize marijuana, what's next? Are we going to
Yeah,
legalize
God.
cocaine? Are we going to legalize meth? And it's like, we know enough about drugs in the human body and drugs in society to be able to understand what should be, allowed on the streets and what we should
Exactly.
prevent from happening. And I just think that with so much going on in the world today, I mean, we have a lot bigger problems. you
Yeah.
know? Like our government shouldn't be involved in people's lives to the point where we're dictating what they can and can't fucking smoke.